Proud, humbled to present Tanawha County, folks. How you doing, my brother?
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, got a little bit choked up there. It's been, so for those of you that don't know, this all started for me through divorce as well. You know, again, I was on the other side. I was on the other side, and I couldn't believe that injustice happened here in America, because I believe that here in America we had the best justice system, and you know, everybody that was in prison deserved to be there because innocence doesn't suffer, and you know, all these things that we're told to believe in, right, about our system, our government, our institutions, our constitution, all of these things, I believed in it, and I fought for it on the wrong side. And it wasn't until I myself experienced exactly what all of you are experiencing that I came to realize that what I believed in was not real, right? There is no justice here in America. The justice system is so corrupt and crooked by people that claim to be experts in the law, and yet they don't follow the law. That is not an expert in the law. That's a criminal. That's all that is a criminal. The very definition of a criminal is one who transgresses the law. It doesn't matter what the law is. If it's the Constitution of the United States, that is still a law. And if you transgress it, you're a criminal, right? So, you know, when we look at the morality of our leaders, right, and we look at what they're truly doing and undermining the very laws that restrain them in order to oppress and hurt the people of the United States, it's a disgusting situation. And yet that's what we find ourselves in. And I could never believe it until I myself was put into it. Guys, when this started for me, my son was like 8 years old. He just turned 18. I haven't seen him, right? I didn't do anything wrong, right? Because the only thing that I've been alleged to have committed was talking to my then wife, right? A no contact violation with a woman who didn't want the no contact order, right? Neither one of us wanted it, and yet the state decided with no reason whatsoever, because there were no criminal allegations, that we're going to put this into place, because we're going to use this as a mechanism to shut this man up. Because typically the tyrant's going to say, well, the best place for that person to be is someplace where he's not able to spread his message, right? So let's put him into prison. Let's ostracize him. Let's attack his character and destroy his reputation so that we can advance our own interests of being able to continue to operate as normal. And that's the situation that we're in today, right? Guys, you know, I've gone around the country and I've served 47 state attorney generals with notices that their agents are abridging their constitutional violation under the supposed authority of a state law, right? And they've done nothing about it. Not only that, but many of them have now became governors, such as Bob Ferguson in the state of Washington. He went from attorney general after having been notified that his agents are violating the Constitution of the United States of America under the alleged authority of a state statute, right? And yet he is now sitting general. Same thing with Josh Stein in the state of North Carolina. The man is now the governor after having been served his notice that his agents, the prosecuting attorneys, are all violating the Constitution of the United States of America. Same thing with Drummond here in Oklahoma, right? So, you know, what you got to understand is that what we believe in here in America is not real. It's not. Because what we call good is not good. If you're locking people up in prison who you know to be innocent, that's not good. If you're stealing children and destroying families, that's not good. If you're murdering people, right, through the death penalty that are actually factually innocent, that's not good. And I have to say that if what we call good here in America is committing such evil, it cannot be good, because only evil can commit evil. Good is incapable of such an act. So, you know, the message that I've been trying to put out, I've been trying to focus on, is the fact that we need to reconcile our understanding of the reality that we all perceive, right? And what do I mean by that is that we each have our own reality. You have reality, I have reality, he has reality, she has reality. We all have a reality, but that reality is based upon our experiences. So if I were to say to you that there's injustice in the world, you couldn't understand me unless you yourself have experienced it. If I were to say to you that there's racism in the world, you yourself couldn't understand it unless you have experienced it, because our reality is based upon our experience. The American people have got a different experience from all of you that follow me, right? Got a different experience from Floyd here, right? They've got a different experience from Jessica Saxton, because we have experienced something that the majority of the population has not experienced. It's called injustice. It's called tyranny. It's called oppression. And it's called criminal acts, because it's in violation of the laws that are designed to restrain our public officials to protect the individual liberties of the people. Period. So I have a different experience now. I have a different reality. And had I not gone through this myself, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't believe in it. You know, so sometimes in order to help others, we have to suffer alongside them. That's the way that we change our perspective. That's the way that we have a new reality. It's not because God's punishing us. It's because God needs us to understand things a little bit differently. So as I go out and I inform public officials that they're committing a crime, they can't understand me because they've never experienced injustice. They can't believe that they could possibly be doing something wrong. But the only way that we can bring this reality into focus is by making sure that people understand that this is what the law states. This is what you're obligated to do, right, by that law. And you're clearly not doing it, right? That law, every law, is a weapon of the people, right? It's not a weapon of government. It's a weapon of the people. The reason why is because if government commits a crime in order to secure an outcome, whatever that outcome might be, taking children, locking people up, whatever that might, getting fines or collections, whatever. If government breaks the law at some point in time, then that law is a double-edged sword. They can use it against us to hold us accountable for our own breach of obligations codified in the law. But the same thing happens with them. And again, a criminal is defined as simply one that transgressed the law. It doesn't matter what that law is. So if you claim to be an expert in the law and yet you don't follow the law, you're not an expert in law, you're a criminal. That's all that you are. You're a criminal. And when government commits a crime, that voids everything else that happens after it. Everything. It's all void, because government can never break the law in order to enforce the law. It's a simple concept. So if government's breaking the law at the onset, then what the government produces in the offset is void, because it derives from their